What is up, everyone? It is your guy Jordan Mustang 87 back once again for the start of another all-new Let's Play, and where this time we are going to be returning to the Evolution WRC games after an 8-month hiatus since I completed WRC 2 Extreme. We are now moving on to the next game in line, WRC 3, the official game of the FIA World Rally Championship. Developed by Evolution and published by Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. In terms of its release date, this game first came out, according to Game FAQs, on November 21st, 2003. And this game would also be released in Japan 6 months later, under the publication of the company Spike, as Japan got this game precisely 6 months and 6 days later, if you can believe it or not, on May 27th, 2004. And there would also be the Platinum disc releases that would also come that same year. And now, let's get on with the options, because that's what we're here for. So we're starting with the controller menu, and of course, sorting these out. So in terms of the vibration and force feedback, we can have this on any setting if we want to, but I'm going to put it down to the lowest possible setting because, well, it gave me a repetitive strain injury last time in my right index finger, which is the finger next to the thumb. I don't want to go through that again. It was pretty painful for most of yesterday when I had it. And the other reason for me recording this again is because, well, for some reason, my video got nuked in both Israel and Russia. And while this wouldn't normally be an issue for me, the intro video I might have expected was going to get partially nuked in a few places. But having one of my actual videos getting nuked as well, for copyright purposes that I can really do nothing about, that's when it really pushes me back. And the other reason for me deciding to do this again is because I want to make sure that this video is available for people to watch worldwide. So in terms of the co-driver volume, I think that should be fine. Sound effects, I will turn that down a bit. And the reason as to why my game audio is pretty much turned off at the moment is because of the fucking copyright bots that decided my video should not be available everywhere. Replay music, I imagine there probably is copyrighted audio involved somewhere, so turn that off. In-game music, that's already turned off. Menu music, however, I sadly have to turn that off as well, as much as it really sucks. Because the menu music in this game is actually really good. But yet, the copyright bots don't think so. I don't know how many blocked videos you need to have for a copyright strike, but at this point, it's one thing I simply cannot afford to risk. And in terms of the tachometer display, I'll go with analog because, well, analog is slightly more stylish. The on-screen display, it's pretty much all the details you need whilst you're driving on whichever stage. All that is fine. The aspect ratio, it's going to be 16:9 because this game does have widescreen support, and the screen position, that should also be fine. And now that we've got all this sorted out, let's now turn on the game volume, because we can. And I accidentally touched my glass that was next to me with my thumb. Anyway, so these are the things we have aside from the game options. High scores, which basically shows what times you've set on each stage. Also got the World Rally Championship, which is of course the career mode. Time trial, that's basically where you can pretty much select whichever rally or stage it is you want to do. And quick race, if I just do this, it basically just selects a completely random stage with a completely random car, and you basically just get sent straight to it, no questions asked. And we're in a Hyundai. We're in the Freddie Loy Hyundai, to be more specific. And now if I just exit the game, we'll get a notification saying that we have a non-saved file yet. I'm going to create that now, just because I can, and also because let's now get into the main part of the gameplay, as we've got our options sorted out, and let's go to the championship. So we can do one of 4 options here. We can either load a game, do a single rally, do a full championship, which of course can also be done with multiplayer, by the way, and test track, which is basically just, you know, testing a car around a track and whatever. You could almost consider it to be like pre-season testing if you wanted to, even though I've never tried it. But anyway, let's go to the championship introduction.
It's one of the greatest challenges on 4 wheels. From frozen Swedish forests to the Australian outback. From the mountains of Argentina to the mist and mud of Britain. Drivers and co-drivers compete across some of the harshest terrains on Earth. And if that wasn't enough, they're up against the toughest rival of them all, the clock. Like wolves in sheep's clothing, the cars carry familiar names, but they're capable of tackling anything from twisting French asphalt to the boulders of Greece. It's a motorsport competition unlike any other, the World Rally Championship.
And so we can choose up to a total of 4 players if we wanted to. And well, because every game I do is pretty much a single player experience, I of course am going to do 1 player. And we can choose from one of these 4 championships. We can either choose novice, professional, expert, and something new that was added to the game is the Extreme Championship, which is basically the 2003 World Rally Cars, except for saying that it's pretty much what they would have been in what's essentially their Group B homologations, because they pretty much have over 500 horsepower. And basically, whichever car we choose for the Expert Championship, that's pretty much gonna become the car that we use for the Extreme Championship. I thought about doing it twice in a row, but I wasn't going to. So we have a choice of either novice or professional. I am going to do novice first because, well, I want to make sure this is a full 100% playthrough. And we get a choice of 7 cars. We can either choose the Citroen Zara WRC, which by the way was also the first rally car that Sebastian Loeb drove to his first World Rally Championship title. Well, first two actually, I believe. We've also got the Peugeot 206, along with the Ford Focus RS, WRC 03. And what's even cooler is the fact that we actually get to use both Ford Focus liveries. We've got the Castrol livery and the BP livery. BP, by the way, is short for British Petroleum. Pretty cool to know that they actually got both liveries in this game, to be honest. That's a nice touch. And we've also got the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, the Subaru Impreza WRC 2003, the Skoda Fabia, and last but not least, the Hyundai Accent WRC 3. I've driven 4 of these cars already up to this point in the Evolution WRC games. I've not driven the Peugeot, I've not driven the Subaru, and I've also not driven the Mitsubishi. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive the Evo. Now we do get some other bits of information here as well. We get car history, which is pretty interesting and you can read in your own time. There's also team statistics, which shows what they've done most recently. Of course, everyone knows Mitsubishi for their 4 titles in a row success with Tommy Mäkinen, naturally. And we also get technical specifications with each car. They all have 300 horsepower and are pretty much powered with 4-cylinder engines. And there's also the 3D Car Explorer, where we can basically open all the doors, the hood, and even the trunk, or if we're using European terms, the bonnet, which is at the front, and also the boot, which is at the rear. And we can also do this as well, which is basically to get a very intricate look on each part of the car, which can be exploited like this, and if we just press square again, the parts will come back together, like so. And for this, we also get a team video. Not sure if there's any copyrighted audio involved there, but I'm not prepared to risk it. And WRC Evolutions, well, this is basically where, after we've driven a certain amount of miles, the car basically gets upgraded. And those little circles down there, well, they're basically the evolution stages, which basically shows the more you drive the car, the more you will get closer to fully upgrading the car, essentially. After unlocking a new evolution, return here to check out its detail. And so, before I waste any more of your time, let's now move on to our driver selection menu. So we've got 2 choices here, Alistair McRae, who is the I keep saying blood for some reason. The brother of Colin McRae. And we also get personal details as well, which is pretty cool, including WRC history, and of course we can also accept him as our driver. And we've also got Jani Passinen as being our other choice, or Passinen, as it's supposedly pronounced. So in terms of the profile, we've got this. So in 2003, he was basically a rookie, and his co-driver is called Arto Kapanen. I always like how the Finnish seem to have very interesting names. And as it says there, 2003 debut season. So, I think I've wasted enough of your time now. Let's actually get on with the rally itself. Now, because this is the Novice Championship, we're only doing 3 stages per rally, which means basically for each of the 3 days we only have 1 stage to do. This increases as we get further and further through the game, because in the Pro Championship this then increases up to 6 stages we do per rally, and then with the Expert and Extreme Championships we do 9 stages per rally. So this is where we start, the Monte Carlo rally, where we get the country postcard, the rally history, the environment, which basically showcases what conditions the rally has, and there's also the rally location, considering this is high up in the Monte Carlo mountains, and we also get a neat little bit of rally history as well. The Monte Carlo rally, by the way, has technically been run since 1911, with only the 2 world wars, I believe, stopping it from really having over 100 years of rallies being held, although it might have been past that now. Anyway, this is our tutorial to the Rally Automobile Monte Carlo.
The WRC kicks off with a Rally Automobile Monte Carlo. Alpine villages and snow-capped mountains provide the backdrop as the asphalt roads wind along the side of sheer drops. With switchback bends, snow and ice all adding to the hazards, it's a great way to start the WRC.
And there's also whoever the narrator is. I think is the same narrator from WRC2 if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, without further ado, and also without any more faffing about, let's actually go to the rally, where we begin with the Shakedown stage. I also don't remember if whether or not I actually switched over to manual gears or not. I think I did, but I will have to check before we get started with the Shakedown. This will also be the only time I really show off the Shakedown, because, well, it doesn't really have any implications on the rally itself. Plus we also don't have any times to beat, so we can basically just run at our own pace. In terms of the car setup, I'm pretty much fine with it just the way it is. So, just to check my options, I have got manual gears, have I not? Yes. Okay. Now that that's out the way, let's actually get going.
2 left and 3 left.
And we also get pace notes as well, like we did in the previous 2 games, of course.
4 left, tightens.
And not off to the best of starts, but
3 right.
hopefully this will improve as I go further and further along. I really thought for sure for a moment that the sneeze coming on. I could definitely feel some itchiness in my right nostril. I really thought for sure I was going to sneeze for a moment there, but it looks like it's just gone away. No. So yeah, basically this is just a test run. We don't have to worry about beating any times here, we just basically, if you want to do the shakedown stages just to, you know, get used to how the car handles and whatever, then you can pretty much do so anytime. And you should be fine. The other reason for me doing this playthrough is because I am trying to break free from this mental downward spiral that has pretty much succumbed my channel recently in terms of results. And I will say that I have faced some pretty rigorous challenges this year, notwithstanding the fact that really since February, I've also been dealing with penocidal disease above my ass. In other words, it's basically in my crotch. But aside from that, I've also had a few other physical and mental challenges as well that, up to this point of the year, have not served me too well, but hopefully, if possible, this is where I can start to turn it around. As we begin with the Rally Automobile Monte Carlo, press X to proceed to day one of the competition. Will do. And to be honest, I'm not going to say the names of these stage names because, to be honest, I can't be bothered. Sunny conditions, 9.4 kilometers. Current best time doesn't really matter. They're all defaulted to 10 minutes. The setup, I think, should be just fine, so let's see how we do. And so here we go for the Monte Carlo Rally.
3, 2, 1, go. 2 right
And
and 1
hopefully,
left.
if it is possible this
Long
time,
happy left.
YouTube's copyright bots will not be able to detect
2 right into 2 left.
copyrighted
5
audio of
right
any
opens.
sort. So hopefully this video will be
4 left into happy
available
right.
for everyone to watch this time.
Happy left.
And also because I really do not want
5
to
right.
see myself in that awkward situation of YouTube's copyright bots giving me a copyright strike.
2 right into 1 left.
I don't know how many blocked videos
6
you
left
need to
and happy
have
right.
consecutively in order to get a copyright strike, and nor do I prefer to find out, to be honest.
2 right into 6 left.
But I would imagine
5 right and 4 left into 3
the
right.
severity of it is something I would prefer not to encounter, especially when I'm not exactly a YouTube community channel yet,
4 left.
which requires me to have at least 1,000 subscribers.
6 left.
Also, by the way, if you are enjoying what I am doing so far, then
2 right opens.
liking and subscribing
2 right.
really does help
over
me
long
out a ton.
bridge. 5 left.
And maybe leaving a comment if you feel inclined enough to do so.
2 left.
But only if you
long
feel
2 right.
inclined enough to do so
4
about the
right
games I
into
play,
3
and
left.
knowing if
3
whether or
right
not
into
you
3 left.
feel
and
willing
2
to,
right.
well, pretty much give me your memories
Happy
of
left.
what fun times you
Happy
had with the
right,
games I
don't
play,
cut.
or choose to play.
4 left. Very long happy right. K-rocks inside.
Yeah, by the way, every like I get for these videos, and also the
4 right. Rocks outside.
subscribers I
3
get
left and junction
from some of these
left.
videos, you have no idea how much I appreciate it.
K over crossing.
I pretty much appreciate
Very
it
long happy right. Over crest.
even more
Rocks
than
inside.
the paid paper delivery paychecks
Over bridge.
that I get in envelopes.
Through chicane. Junction
Which at
left,
least,
don't cut,
you know, in a
lost
way
inside.
shows that whilst I'm technically
Over
not
crest into 3 left.
in weekly work
2 right
yet,
tightens.
I'm mostly
5
still
left
doing
and
volunteer
2
work
right,
for now,
3 left
but
into 2 right
one of
tightens.
those volunteer jobs I'm currently doing,
2 left into
I am
2
trying to
right
see
and
if whether
3
or not
left.
I can actually break through to the weekly job status.
3 left. 5 right. over
Something
crest.
that I am really hopeful in
Crest
seeing does
and
manage to
over
work out.
bridge.
And yes, I am putting in the commitment to
3 right.
make sure
over.
that it does work out if possible.
4 right. 2 left. left and long 2
I might
right
also
in
have
berms.
to come up with some separate videos for the replays because
1 left.
I imagine with
5
a lot of
left,
these
tightens
stages being
gear
pretty
outside.
long,
5 left.
I probably will have
3 right,
to
rocks inside.
give myself some separate clips
Crest into
to
1 left.
really
2
put
right.
together my
2 right
video
and long
thumbnails.
5 right. Long happy left. Opens
And if you're wanting
into
to
long
ask
2
me
left.
why the quality of my thumbnails is a bit fuzzy, well that's because at the moment
4 right and
my
2
RAM
left,
processor
inside.
can only really
long,
withstand recording at 30 FPS. And until
2 left.
I get a 16GB RAM processor, which is what I am hoping to get at some point in the near future,
Long 3 right onto
then
5,
basically,
rocks inside. 2
if you're
left,
expecting high
snow.
quality frames, well, my only response at the moment is tough shit.
2 right. 2 right.
I am pretty much
4 left into 2 right.
running with what I have for now. And if I do manage to get a 16-bit processor
Into 4 left.
at some point in the future, then
2
hopefully
right.
that
3 left
will
and 4 right. Post outside.
provide me
2
with the
left
ability
into 3 right and 3 left
of being
and
able
3
to
left.
record these videos with
1
the
right
frames I
and
really
long
want,
2
which
right.
is
Post inside.
50 FPS.
4 left.
Because, well,
4 right,
that's pretty much
chicane.
what my flat screen Samsung
4
TV
left
essentially
into
is.
4 right. 5 left. No chicane.
And technically the PC I am using is the Acer Nitro 50.
We're clear of the stage.
Anyways, I win. And I also get a sweep of greens, and what's even more surprising is that
3,
I had no
2,
body damage on the car.
1, go.
And now that we're at the high score screen, I'm basically just going to put in my channel initials of J87. And now that that's done, we also get the replay options here. I will have to split this up into a separate clip, but basically once we've set the stage run, the replay plays in the background unless we choose to exit the replay. And what I am going to do now is restart the replay so I can get some thumbnails. Okay, I think that's enough. I think we've managed to at least get 1 or 2 decent shots from that replay now. Spent at least 3 minutes recording that, just to make sure that I did get at least 1 or 2 decent ones. So these are how the results stack up, with me winning in the end by 27.16 seconds over Richard Burns. Then it was Tommy Mackin in third, virtually another second behind. And Marco Martin rounds off the top 4, with Alistair McRae finishing in the top 10, while the top 8 were rounded off by the 2 Citroens. And we've already had a retirement, Francois Duval in the second Ford Focus, and Mikko Hirvonen was basically in no man's land. So these are your results after stage 1 of the novice Monte Carlo rally. Rounded off by the 2 Hyundais, the second Skoda, and the second Ford. So let's save and continue, because we can. And let's now move over to stage 2. So, a bit less distance than what we had before, and current best time doesn't really matter. Let's just get to it. Also, because this is the first episode, I am going to keep the loading screens. I might also do the same for the rest of this championship, just because, well, this is our foray into WRC3, if that makes any sense. And also because I'm pretty sure no one has officially done
3,
a playthrough of this
2,
game with all
1,
4 championships
go.
yet.
Very long 3 right.
There have been a few playthroughs of this game, but not exactly any full 100% playthroughs.
5 right.
Something which, by the way,
1
I
left
do of
into
course
6
aim to
right.
change by making
5
sure
left
that
and 4 right.
I
Gearbox
stick my foot in the
outside.
door and show that a 100% playthrough of this game is
Junction right,
possible,
don't cut, and
just like I
3
did for
left.
the previous game, WRC
Junction
2,
left, don't cut.
even though I didn't do it for the
Straight
game
into
before
junction
that,
right,
because
over
well, I
long
wasn't
bridge.
really bothered at the time. But then again, it didn't really matter, so, you know,
Straight over junction.
it
4
is
right.
what it is.
Through chicane.
There weren't any progression implications in the first game, so
1 left and 2 left.
I basically just did the Pro Championship and then the Expert
3 right.
Championship and then just, you know, left it at that because I
right.
wanted to
Junction right.
make sure
cut.
that I
5
met my
left
goal
into
of
5 right.
completing 12 games. Something that, believe it or not, I did manage to do
2 right
when I
and
recorded
5
the
left.
first Evolution WRC
right,
game
over narrow
in
bridge.
December 2024, I believe it was,
2 right.
as one of my
Chicane.
tail lights is out.
2 left and 4 left. Caution, rocks outside. 3 right.
And achieving 12 game
Hairpin left.
playthroughs completed was something that
Hairpin right. Okay,
I
rocks
did
inside.
manage to do in 2024,
Hairpin left. Don't
in
cut.
spite
Rocks
of
inside.
there being a few things in between that really tried to
West into
halt
long
my
hairpin right. Rocks
progress.
inside.
I basically proved it could be done
1 left.
once.
Through chicane.
And yep. As opposed to the first
Very long
stage
hairpin
where
left. Okay, rocks
my
inside.
body was pretty much undamaged.
Are you okay?
Yep, my car is very damaged now because I just hit a rock. You would be
Very long
amazed on how
hairpin
easy
right.
that
Okay,
is to
rocks
do,
inside.
but despite that I am still gaining
4
time.
left.
Yeah, by the way, if the sector splits are
2
green,
right into 2
it
left
means that
and
you're
3 right. Rocks
technically
outside.
gaining
Very long
time
3
on the
left.
leaders, but if your sector splits are red, then it means you're technically
2
losing
left
time to
and
the
3 right.
leaders.
Opens.
In other words,
5 right and
the
2
green
left. Okay, rocks outside.
sector splits
Bullets come left.
indicate
Are you okay?
the time you've gained, and... Okay, I'm going to reset the car. There was really nothing else I could have done there, because I was basically stuck between 2 rocks,
5 left.
and
Rocks
to be honest,
inside.
it would have just been a waste of time for
3
me
left
to
and through chicane.
get outside assistance.
1 right into long 2 left.
Okay, I've definitely
4
damaged the
right
car
opens.
now, compared to before.
3 right.
Yep, it's now down
4
to
left.
just under 2 seconds.
4 right over bridge.
However, I did have a big lead heading into this stage anyway, so
2 left and 1
for the
right.
Novice Championship,
1 left and
mistakes
2
are
right.
mostly inconsequential.
Road narrows through chicane. 3 left.
You might lose 1 or 2 stages if you make 1 too many mistakes, but
5 right.
if you're
into
able
3
to just
left.
keep your car on the road for most of these stages, then in hindsight, you
2
should
right
be fine.
into 1 left and 1 right. 2 right into
As long
3
as you're
left
able
and
to
3
keep your
left.
car on the road and
Short
not
hairpin right into
run into the
hairpin
walls
left.
all the time. And another thing I will say about this game
Hairpin
is the
right.
fact that they've definitely improved the physics as opposed to the previous game, because you definitely feel like
Hairpin right. Okay, rocks outside.
you've got that
Hairpin
bit
left. Okay,
more
rocks inside.
in-car control as opposed to what you had in the previous
2
game.
right and 1 left.
Although, the main reason for that is because, well, I was terrible at the game at first and I knew
3 left and 3 right.
I was needing to
4 right.
get some much needed improvements
Through chicane.
in the way I was driving the
Through
car,
chicane. 3 right.
by
don't
making
cut.
sure
Inside. 2 right.
that I
Hairpin
actually
left.
did a more competent job of it than I did before.
Hairpin right.
And that's nothing wrong with the game, it's just that
3 right
At
and 3
first,
left. Opens.
I was not used to the physics, and then eventually after doing the Novice Championship in WRC2, that was eventually when I got used to the driving physics, and well, eventually everything else pretty much went the way I wanted it to.
2 right and 2 left.
Even though I will say that finishing with no points in both Cyprus and Argentina, I will say that was a pretty bitter pill to swallow
3, 2,
in the previous game.
go.
But I did manage to overcome it. And I also managed to clinch the... I think it was the Expert Championship, if I remember. Pretty much a rally early. Hey, Alistair McRae managed to sneak into the top 8. Let's go. And let's have a look at the rest of the results. And yep, we've had another retirement, this time Marco Martin in the second Ford Focus. So Mikko Hirvonen is pretty much the only one left. And that does now promote Alistair McRae into the points, because Marco retired. So we've got 2 Citroens in the points, with 1 Subaru, 3 Peugeots, and both Mitsubishis in the points at the moment. Will it stay like this? Probably not, but again, there are plenty more rallies to go. Sorry about that, I thought someone was opening my door. Must just be hearing things. Anyway, let's get on with our final stage of Novice Monte Carlo. Hopefully this stage run goes slightly better. And so here we are for our final stage
3,
of
2,
Novice Monte Carlo
1,
in this game.
go. 2 right. 2 right.
I
1
would
left
consider
and 2 right.
saying the
5
stage
left into
names,
3
but
right.
to be honest, a lot of them
2 right.
are foreign spelt,
2 left.
and I feel like
3 right.
if I do try to pronounce
1 right.
the stage
2
names,
left. 1
I
right
fear
and
some
2
people might
right.
take that the wrong way.
2 left and 3
And to be
right.
honest, it's pretty much one of those fumbles that
Junction left.
I really don't
archway.
want to be responsible
Junction
for,
left.
or held accountable for, if that makes sense.
5 right and 6 right. 2 right into 6 left.
I just want
Very long
to make
straight.
sure that
Overbridge.
I do pretty much everything in my power
Long
to
2 right. 2 right.
maintain myself as the
6
peacekeeper,
left. Overbridge.
or at least try to be the peacekeeper, if that makes sense.
4 left. 5 left into 2 right. Very long 2
Anyway,
left.
we're off to a good start so far.
5 right.
I will say the body of the car is not looking too hot at the moment, but
2 left.
oh, fuck my ass. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Oh, okay, I can't restart. You know what? I'm just gonna let this play out. I knew I was gonna get reset at the top of the mountain.
Hairpin left. K-Rocks inside.
Yeah, to be honest, there was really nothing I could do once I hit that rock.
Hairpin right. Don't
My
cut.
car was basically going airborne and there was no way I could save it.
Hairpin left. K-Rocks inside.
My car was basically totaled after that.
Hairpin right. Rocks inside.
Pretty sure I'm gonna drop down the order
Through chicane.
and I'm gonna have
3
to
left.
claw
Careful.
back the time.
Overbridge into junction right.
in hard on the brakes for this bridge because of that immediate right-hander.
3 right. 6 left. 5
And
right.
yep,
And
I'm
happy
down to
left.
5th. Although surprisingly,
Through chicane.
despite all that, I'm only a
5
second
right.
behind the leaders.
1 right.
Although
Into
I'm
5
pretty
left.
sure my car is going to be slow
3 right.
because, well,
Into 6 right. Over bridge.
my car right now looks like shit.
Junction left. 1 left. Into 6 right.
Not exactly the way I would have wanted to start this off, but you know what? I'm actually not
3 right.
surprised
Into long 2 left.
to say that something like that happened.
Very long happy right.
You would honestly be amazed on just how easy it is to quite literally crash a rally car. It pretty much happens all the time. Although nowadays, of course, with safety improvements, the possibilities of driving to your death,
Long 2 right. Over
well,
crest. Into
they
happy
are
left.
greatly reduced nowadays. And I can also assure you that the body panels as well as body frames that they run
1
in the
left.
cars
Into
nowadays,
2 right. Through chicane.
they are much
2 right. Into
stronger
3
than they
left.
used to be.
Through chicane. 2 right and through chicane. Long
Which
5
means that the
right.
chances
3 right tightens.
of someone dying in a rally car
3
nowadays,
left and 2 right.
they are greatly reduced.
3 left. 2 left into 1 right.
But I will say that from
4
time
right
to
into
time you
2
can
left.
still see some
1 left and 4 left.
basically
into 2 right.
bone-crushing impacts with how hard some of the hits can
2
get.
left into 6 right. 5 left.
You basically are driving
6 left.
what's essentially a four-wheeled missile
6 right.
on what's very narrow and tactical roads a lot of the time.
6 right.
You really have
Through chicane.
got to be a master of car control to
6 left.
succeed in the WRC. Well, unless your name is Colin McRae, then in which
Through
case
chicane into 6 left.
you can pretty much rack your cars all you like and still be fast enough to win. Because oddly enough, with these
5
beaten up
left
body
into
shells,
outside.
that's pretty much what a lot of people admired Colin McRae for.
5 right. Post inside into short 4
Should
left
also
and
mention
2 right
that if you
opens.
come into
Through chicane.
contact with the road signs,
2 right and
unlike in
long 2
previous
left.
games, they will not stop you dead this
Long
time.
3 right,
You can
tightens
basically
into
just
5
drive
right, rocks inside.
straight through them and you'll have basically no loss of speed whatsoever.
5 right.
Well, I suppose in a lot of ways Colin McRae did
Happy left.
technically show how a rally car was supposed to be
5
driven,
right and 4 right.
even though I will say this was not what I had in
6
mind,
left.
and I will say it was
4
far
left,
from
rocks
intentional.
inside. 4 left.
Circumstances
into 5
just
right
chose
and
to,
5 left. Opens.
you know, play out that way.
We're clear of the stage.
And if you understand how chaotic everyday life is the way I do,
3,
then a lot of the
2,
time,
1.
for as much as you think you're going to get those big breaks, you can also get plenty of hard breaks. And I have definitely experienced plenty of those. And this time, Armin Schwartz gets into the top 10. So this time, 2 Citroens, 2 Peugeots, and also 2 Subarus with 1 Hyundai. And... oh no, Alistair McRae retired in the final stage. God damn it. I really thought for sure he was going to get points out of that, but nope. The game decided otherwise. Anyway, these are your results, as I wound up winning the rally by precisely 51 seconds over Carlos Sainz. Then Harry Rovanpera was third, completing the podium, and Petter Solberg was best of the rest, finishing P4 in terms of point scorers, and Gilles Panizzi gets the final point in the Peugeot, just beating Tony Gardemeister, and we had 3 retirements to start with. My teammate and 2 of the 3 Fords, with Mikko Hirvonen pretty much being in no man's land. So anyway, that's all she wrote for Novice Rally Monte Carlo, and now let's move on to the podium celebrations, because we can. And also because I can guarantee this video is going to take a long time to fully upload, much like my previous one did. Even though I will of course have to make sure I get rid of the replay bits I recorded in editing and make that into its own separate video. That's pretty much my plan anyway, because, well, unlike the previous 2 games, I can't save replays in this game. So these are your points. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Citroën should technically be second in the manufacturer points, because they scored 12 points as opposed to Subaru's 7 points. And this is how the rest of the order looks. We will get more point scorers, and already... Oh, Citroën got 13 points actually. So Mitsubishi gets 10, with Subaru 9, unless there are bonus points added out for stages and whatever. Peugeot gets 4, Skoda 2, and Hyundai 1, with Ford scoring 0 after the first round. 1 round is down, 13 to go. Let's now head to Sweden, and thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. And now let's move on to Sweden.